became like a storm, unstoppable. This land belonged to God.
The enemy came.
And they took everything. The chosen people. God doesn't need an army. He only needs one unlikely man. This is Gideon.
Imagine a world where your entire existence is overshadowed by an enemy's brutal oppression. Your crops are stolen, your livestock plundered, and every sunrise brings a fresh wave of fear. Now imagine, in the depths of this despair, a divine voice whispers, not to a mighty king or a seasoned general, but to a farmer secretly thrashing wheat in a winepress, trembling with terror. This is the story of Gideon, a man whose journey from utter fear to an audacious leap of faith will redefine what it means to be chosen. For 7 years, the Midianites, a vast horde of desert raiders, had ravaged the land of Israel. They descended like locusts, plundering harvests, slaughtering livestock, and leaving devastation in their wake. The people of Israel were utterly impoverished, driven to hide in caves and mountain strongholds, their spirits crushed under the weight of constant fear. Their cries for deliverance echoed through the desolate valleys, a desperate plea to the God they had, in their despair, turned away from. This constant threat meant men like Gideon, a farmer from the humble tribe of Manasseh, lived every moment in a state of alert, fearing what the next day would bring. It was amidst this despair, as Gideon secretly threshed wheat in his winepress to hide it from the Midianites, that the angel of the Lord appeared to him.
Who are you?
I am a messenger of the Lord.
Is with you.
Go in this strength and deliver your people. Gideon, mighty warrior, the Lord is with you.
Gideon, astonished, retorted, "If the Lord is with us, why has all this happened? Where are all his wonders our fathers told us about?" He was a man steeped in fear, convinced of his own insignificance. He questioned God's presence, God's power, and even his own potential. This was not the confident general you might expect, but a man wrestling with profound doubt, utterly unprepared for the extraordinary calling about to be placed upon him. Still wrestling with fear and disbelief, Gideon asked for a sign. He prepared a young goat and unleavened bread, laying them on a rock, hoping for some tangible proof that this was truly the Lord speaking. The angel instructed him to pour the broth over the meat and bread. As Gideon watched, the angel touched the offering with the tip of his staff, and fire erupted from the rock, consuming the sacrifice in an instant. The angel then vanished, leaving Gideon stunned and terrified. It was an undeniable, miraculous display of divine power, a powerful validation that God was not just speaking, but actively working in his midst. Yet even after this, a residue of doubt remained, a testament to the depth of his fear. That very night, God commanded Gideon to tear down his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. He built a new altar to the Lord and offered a sacrifice. This clandestine act, though small, was a monumental step of faith, directly confronting the idolatry that had brought God's judgment upon Israel. It marked Gideon's first act of defiance, not against Midian, but against the spiritual bondage gripping his own family and community. Despite the miraculous fire and his act of destroying the idols, Gideon's human fear persisted. He now faced the daunting task of rallying Israel against the Midianites. Before he dared to sound the trumpet, he sought another sign, a peculiar test of faith. He laid out a wool fleece on the thrashing floor, asking God, "If you will save Israel by my hand, let there be dew only on the fleece, but let all the ground around it be dry." The next morning, it was exactly so. Gideon wrung out a bowl full of water from the fleece while the earth remained parched. This was an astonishing display, yet Gideon's heart still wavered, reflecting the deep-seated skepticism that can grip us even in the face of the undeniable. But Gideon, in his profound human weakness, dared to ask for one more sign. "Let not your anger burn against me," he pleaded, "but let the fleece alone be dry and the ground around it covered with dew." And God, in his boundless patience, did just that. The next morning, the fleece was perfectly dry, while the entire thrashing floor shimmered with dew. This time, there could be no mistaking the miracle. This wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a direct, undeniable act of God. With this final, irrefutable proof, Gideon's resolve began to solidify. The trembling farmer was slowly, painstakingly, being forged into the leader Israel desperately needed. Empowered by these undeniable signs, Gideon sounded the trumpet.
My Munhubras, our courage will forge a new dawn. Rise with me!
Gideon sounded the trumpet, calling for volunteers from the tribes of Manasseh, Asher, Zebulun, and Naphtali. To his astonishment, 32,000 men responded, ready to stand against the Midianite oppressors.
Brothers, this day we march as one. Our faith will guide us to triumph.
This was a tremendous force, a surge of hope in a nation long downtrodden. It was a testament to the pent-up desperation of the people and their growing faith in Gideon's divine calling. For a brief moment, the sheer numbers must have felt comforting, a true army ready to reclaim their freedom. But God had a far different plan, one that would remove all possibility of human boasting. But God then instructed him, "Declare to the people, anyone who is fearful or afraid may leave Mount Gilead and go home."
Men of Israel, stand firm. The Lord is with us. Do not be afraid, for our victory
And
is
just
assured.
like that, 22,000 men turned and went home, leaving Gideon with only 10,000. It was a devastating blow to human confidence, but a profound lesson in divine strategy. God was making it clear, this victory would not be achieved by human might, but by his supernatural power. A smaller, more devoted army would ensure his glory. But God wasn't finished. "There are still too many," he declared. Gideon was then instructed to lead the remaining 10,000 men down to the water. "Everyone who laps the water with their tongue like a dog," God commanded, "set apart. Likewise, everyone who kneels down to drink." An unusual test revealing more than just thirst. Only 300 men cupped the water to their mouths with one hand, keeping their eyes vigilant, watching for danger. The rest knelt, unconcerned. These 300, alert and ready for anything, were the chosen few. From 32,000 to a mere 300, God had refined his army, proving that true power lies not in numbers, but in divine selection and unwavering vigilance.
Men of Israel, the Lord has delivered Midian into our hands. Rise, we go forth
Before
to
the
victory.
impending battle, God, knowing Gideon's persistent need for assurance, commanded him to sneak into the Midianite camp with his servant Purah. In the darkness, Gideon overheard 2 Midianite soldiers talking.
The omens are dark. We must act.
But the signs are unclear. We need more.
One
whispers
recounted
grow.
a dream, a humble barley cake tumbling into their camp, striking a tent and flattening it. The other soldier immediately interpreted. "This can be nothing other than the sword of Gideon son of Joash, the Israelite. God has given Midian and all the camp into his hands." He worshipped God right there in the heart of his enemy's territory. Returning to his 300 men, Gideon, now filled with unwavering faith, revealed God's audacious battle plan.
Brothers, this is our path. We go empty-handed to conquer, and they will crumble.
No swords, no shields, no conventional warfare. Instead, each man was given a trumpet, an empty clay jar, and a torch hidden inside the jar. They were to surround the vast Midianite camp under the cover of night, divided into divine intervention, designed to exploit the Midianites' fear and ensure God alone received the glory for the impossible victory. At the darkest hour, just after the changing of the guard, Gideon and his 300 men surrounded the vast Midianite camp. At his signal, a thunderous blast of 300 trumpets shattered the night's silence. Simultaneously, 300 jars were smashed, revealing 300 blazing torches. And then a mighty sword for the Lord and for Gideon. Panic erupted. The Midianites, disoriented by the sudden noise and light, believing themselves surrounded by a massive army, turned their swords on each other in the darkness and confusion. God himself caused them to fight among themselves. The impossible happened. The massive Midianite host, overwhelmed by terror and divine intervention, fled in utter disarray, cornering the 2 Midianite kings, Zebah and Zalmunna. With them, Gideon found the plunder taken from his brothers, reminding him of the personal cost of this war. In a decisive moment, Gideon himself executed the kings, avenging the blood of his family and bringing a definitive end to the Midianite threat. This was a victory complete and total, a testament to Gideon's unwavering faith and the power of God to deliver his people.